It's said very often. All of us read this in all those books which we read about inspiration and stuff. A lot of those I honestly don't read, but one thing is a fact: don't stop dreaming. It it's only after a few decades that you'll think back and kind of uh, you know you'll come across moments like this where you say, yeah, I did dream of something and it happened, and it was fun. So that I think is going to be the underlying theme of what I want to talk to you guys about. I'll start off with a background to what I've done. Right, I think he kind of captured the education part of it. I was a pathetic student. Let me start by saying I was really bad. My idea of education was never studies. My idea of education was partying. My idea of education was the fun that came associated with it. My idea of education was breaking the rules. Okay, I can say that now. Now, no one's going to catch hold of me and say that you can't say this. I couldn't say this a few years back, but I can say this now. So I did my architecture from Delhi itself, from the School of Planning and Architecture. Um, I I did a course, yes. I can say I did a course. Whether I actually studied or learned, I'm not sure. The reason why I say that is that, by about the third year of my course, what I realized was that I was doing architecture. Architecture was great as a design, and it was a really good profession to go out and talk about. But whether I was enjoying it or not, I'm not too sure. I was enjoying the technical aspect of it, but these are times, about 25, 27 years back now, where you used to graduate from an architecture college, join one of the, if you were really lucky, one of the really good architecture firms used to pay you a lot of money, and a lot of money at that time was $5,000. So, with the hope of those $5,000, over the first 3 years of college, is kind of put me off the entire idea of studying 5 years and going to office, working from 8 to whatever, I don't know what even the time was. That's when I kind of started doing, and like I said, it's now that I realize that there was a dream. There was a dream to see places. There was a dream to enjoy the industry, which is the construction industry, which I really like. The dream was that after a realization that I was not as creative on the paper, but yes, I could technically get things right. That's when I actually formed my first company, along with a few friends of mine. We used to make these exhibition stalls in Pragati Maidan. Now it's become a very professional company-run thing. But at that time, a few students used to get together and design this. To cut a long story short, we had two of these things by about the architecture college. I still got out of architecture college somehow. I still went to the 5,000 buck job, but soon realized that wasn't my calling, and that's when I moved to CBRE. And some of the first things that I remember from CBRE is, the third day in CBRE, I was told to put some numbers onto an Excel sheet. I didn't know how to open an Excel sheet. Uh, I had only worked on ACAD and I had never opened an Excel sheet. So when they told me that you need to insert these tables, which have 2 and 2, and the sum of that is 4, and they wanted the data captured, I actually sat down with the calculator and put in 2, and entered a 4. And I distinctly remember there was a gentleman who even Sunil would remember, in college, who was my mentor, so to say, when I joined. I ran out of columns. Excel on the screen you could see till column O. I said, I ran out of columns. I don't know what to do now. Where do you want me to enter the data? So, that's where I started from. And the reason why I think it's important for each one of you is because I've come to your campus for the first time. I think it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant from what any of us had when we started off in this industry. It's brilliant because, one, you have, industry stalwarts here guiding you. You have someone telling you formally what real estate is about. I mean, my recollection of the real estate industry, and at that point in time, when I told my dad that I'm quitting an architecture firm and I'm joining CBRE, he said, what is CBRE? I said, there's an international property consulting firm. His reaction was, you're becoming a broker. like, no, I am not joining brokerage. I am in the consulting part. Yeah, that's a broker. Unfortunately, that's one perception I have not been able to change. He still believes I'm a broker. He still continues to ask me what property prices are. He thinks that's all that I know. And when I go and tell him that I can't find a house for myself to live in when I want to, he says, what kind of work do you do? You work in the field and you can't find a house for yourself. You do this. So, that's the difference that comes off today. I mean, you guys have verticals, you have, the courses that Sunil was just telling me about, the specialization that you do. You have a huge head start. You have a huge head start, and I think you guys should make use of it. You guys should make use of it because the industry needs you. The industry needs people who are young, who are people who can perform like this. Like I said, I can't explain to you the feeling that I get when I sit down with you guys after so many years, because it takes me back in time. Right? This is the enthusiasm that we need to really carry on with. So getting back to what I was talking about, a lot of us at this stage, and I'm just trying to think back, but I'm now old. I like to say that I'm old, though in your company I would not want to admit to that. I think some of the questions that I thought a lot of you would have in mind right now, let me try and, if I can preempt and address those. If you think those are not the questions, you guys come up with the questions, because there's no point in my carrying on lecturing you. But one thing I remember when I was about your age, so to say, was a lack of this, I call it a confusion. It was nothing but a confusion about everything. Okay, I was confused about everything, whether it came from what I want to do, what will happen, whether I will be successful, whatever the definition of successful is. I don't know what the definition of successful is. Whether I'll be able to, do things that I really wanted to. And for you guys, like I said, if I go back to what I was just telling you guys, if you have a dream, and the dream can be anything. And I'll give you a small example of what I was just talking about. When I was doing architecture, I had this dream of traveling. I had this dream that I wanted to travel. And at that point of time, the dream, of course, was I wanted to travel in style. I did not want to travel by, the economy class of an aircraft sitting at the back, going to a place and coming back. The idea was I need to travel and see the world. I had no idea how that's going to happen. An architect doesn't travel. An architect goes to the construction site and back, wears dirty shoes. His wife, my wife still doesn't let me enter the house with the shoes that I visited the site with, by the way. But I didn't see it happening. But somewhere in my mind, that one thought kind of lingered on. And it's only about 10 years back that I was thinking back one day, and I said that, it's now a stage where I actually went and did the entire thing of traveling to pretty much everywhere, of living out of a suitcase, to the extent that I could relate to George Clooney up in the air, right? And the million mile or 10 million miles that he was aiming towards, it kind of brought back a lot of memories of how you become when you get into that rut of just travel. And that's when the other aspect of the things that I wanted to do over the last 10 years came in, and I again decided to change. So like I said, I've never stuck to rules. I've never done the things which I was expected to. I never stuck around the convention. So unlike you guys, I was all over the place, right? So I started off with doing advisory, consulting, valuations, etc., setting up a couple of verticals for CBRE as well. Until I decided to move into a more finance-oriented background and went into actual hardcore finance with Deutsche Bank. And underwrote various kinds of investments everywhere, looking at them. Until I decided that I had enough and I wanted to actually get back and get real. And I'll tell you, the nuances of each one of these, because all of you have the opportunity of getting anywhere, first of all. You have various verticals that are open to you. So the nuances of each of these verticals is something that you guys should be aware of. So there was DB. I moved over to India REIT, where after a brief stint at India REIT, the promoter, which is Ramesh and me, we decided to set up our own fund. And now we have a development company. So I actually come all the way back to actually undertaking constructions. But from your perspective, what is it that you guys have? And what I would ideally want to share with you guys, especially when you're still at a stage, going to enter the industry, is a few things which I think are important for you. The first being, off late, a lot of people that I've been coming across of your age who are coming and joining in are compartmentalized. And it's not necessarily your fault, right? I had a chat with Sunil when we came in here that you have 10 verticals, you have 2 semesters, you have students doing one thing, you have students doing the other thing. Try and branch out. It's never too bad to learn what the other guys are doing. And with all due respect to your faculty, and I know Sunil's going to hate me for this, studying is not the end of the world. Your learning starts after you get out. So, like I said, all due respect to your faculty, because these guys obviously do a great job. I didn't study. I did not study a bit when I was supposed to study. Right? Each one of you here will learn. Each one of you here will be successful. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your time here. Have fun. I'm expected to come here and talk about leadership and talk about all the serious things, where after doing all that, what I enjoy is your band playing. It doesn't take a lot more than that to make a person happy. So enjoy yourself. Your calling will come. Just follow your heart. Just do what you want to. Be open. Be flexible. Shift around. Don't worry about your future. You're too young to worry about your future. You're going to do just right in this world. Okay? That's the underlying thing, and that's the confidence that you need to start off with. That you don't need to worry right now as to what's going to happen 10 years down the line. It's 10 years down the line that you think about this time, like me today, and say, those were the times. So don't lose out on this time that you really have right now. Getting back to the boring and the leadership part, which again I have a problem thinking about what is it from a leadership perspective that you guys want me to talk about. I've spoken about the way that you can approach your time while you're learning, and I think a lot of people are getting bored as well. So I really, like I said, if you guys have a question, let's keep it interactive. Why don't you guys talk rather than me just carrying on? So if any of you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand and just go ahead, right, at any point in time. One aspect that I think is something which is required for you guys, and I spoke to Sunil when I came in here, is active industry interaction. And the reason for that, this is a slightly serious subject, right? But I think it's important for you guys to know, because it's not as if the industry doesn't recognize this institute. Okay? You guys come with a formidable branding. RICS is a formidable brand as far as the industry goes. And the industry and the faculty that you guys have is recognized throughout the industry. And I'm not just saying because I know the people here, but I'm actually telling you something which I've experienced on my own. To give you an example, when I joined Deutsche Bank, for me to underwrite anything in Europe, the prerequisite was an RICS degree, RICS membership. At that point of time, RICS did not exist in India. And I was actually asked to go to London and do the accreditation there and then come back. Luckily for me, halfway through I was made to write a few papers at that point in time. Luckily, they didn't make me do that when I came back to India, because Davina was kind enough to say that you can come and join and not make me go through the tests, which again I would have failed, I'm quite sure. So you guys have the brand with you. You guys are, pioneers as far as education in the real estate sector goes. The real estate sector needs you. Each one of you. Each one of you will have a different calling. There'll be different people at different points in time, but the industry needs you, because no matter what you read in the paper, trust me, no matter what you read, this is the best industry to be in. By far, and I'm telling you from, and I'll tell you the reasons for it. Okay. Let's go down to basics. What is it that we look for in a career? Do you look for a career which involves you going to office at 8 o'clock in the morning, picking up a phone, talking to 20 people over the day, people you don't know, half of who abuse you, coming back and saying, I converted 3 clients. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you not be in a place where you decide what you want to do? Right? Okay. Let me give you what you can do in real estate. What you guys learn is basics, right? You learn basics of real estate, which I had no idea about when I started. You guys already know it. If you don't limit yourself, you can get into telling the biggest landowners in this country what they can do. And when I'm saying this, it actually involves you going, looking, thinking. Common sense thinking, that's all. And unfortunately for each one of you, this industry is full of stupid people. Really, really stupid people. And when I say stupid people, the reason here is that it's got to do with a lack of common sense. Which is, again, it's not their fault, right? And I'm saying this including myself. I've been stupid in a lot of things. I'll give you an example. There were projects that, when I was in DB, we were financing. Okay? And this is the example, in fact, I was talking to Sunil while coming here as well. The bank was funding a 200-acre township development, right? And we were looking at funding it. And I had to make the Excel model for that, and I had to make the business plan for the township. I was told the investment needs to be 5 years. Now figure out whatever happens within it and show me a great return. By then I'd learned how to work on Excel, by the way. I wasn't as bad as when I started. I could figure out how an IRR function works, which of course I had no idea what IRR meant when I started. So my brief was make a 200-acre township in 5 years, and I did it in Excel. And I'm proud to say that even 5% of the township was not completed in the 5 years that I was with DB. That's how stupid I was. So the industry is full of stupid people. You cannot construct a 200-acre township in 5 years. Yeah, but those were times where the money was coming in. If you told a person that I'll give you this return, he would give you a few more, a couple of $100 million more. That's where you made your money. You said, okay, I'll do it, without realizing. Right? So that's the head start you guys have. And the reason I keep telling you this is because you guys have the advantage of knowing the entire spectrum, right? You understand various verticals. That's the reason why you can really do wonders if you come into the industry with an open mind. Right? A few things that I think are important for succeeding in this industry, and I'll go back to how the real estate industry is the best in a couple of minutes. What it's taken most people that I know who succeeded is nothing but 2 things. One was a willingness to learn. And when I say learn, I'm not talking about studying. It's not studying I'm talking about. I'm saying learning and being aware. Okay? I'll give you an example of the difference in the two. We all, go through legal documents and stuff. We all look at legal files and stuff, right? Despite investing in projects, I'm not expected to be a lawyer. I appoint a lawyer for that. So my brief to every consultant when I start off, and I appoint a consultant for every transaction, is that I'm stupid, but I'm paying you. You teach me, and you can do that. Right? There are specialists for everything. You just need to tell them and be open to the fact that I don't know. You teach me. If I go and tell a guy, yeah, I know everything, but you're the one who's my consultant, I don't know what he's going to teach me. So one is learning. Just be open to the fact that we all can learn. Yes, I know a lot of you here are probably a lot more intelligent than I am and know a lot more than me and don't need to learn. Try. That's my only advice to you guys. And the second is working hard. It unfortunately is an industry where there have been a lot of people that have been attracted purely because the industry itself, like I said, has been so lucrative, whether it is financially whether it is from the career growth path, whether it is from the kind of experiences that you can get. There have been a complete influx of people from all other industries into the real estate industry, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, that's the competition that you have, and the only way you can set yourself apart is by putting in the hard work that's required to actually understand. That's all. So that's the two things that are required. Now, we're getting back to the fun part of why the industry is good. You can, like I said, enjoy yourself going and seeing great places at someone else's money and expense, telling him things that he should have already known. He's a person who owns the place. There's no one better than him. He flies you in. He flies you in business. He flies you in and puts you up in a fancy hotel to come and tell you, tell him things that he should have known. I completely baffles me, but I think that's great. I have no problem. I'm not complaining. The scale of things that we're talking about here is just so mind-bogglingly different that any other industry would have taken years to kind of catch up. You look at any small project, a smallish project, even, for example, in Mumbai, because I've been focusing on Mumbai for the last about 2-3 years, a smallish project starts at about 50-60 crores, right? And that's just pure cost. The scale that we're talking about is very different, right? And I'm just telling you because at the end of the day, I could come and tell you, none of us should work for the money. It's not good to have so much money. Money doesn't change our life, but that's all nonsense. It's complete nonsense. To start with, we do work for the money. If we don't have the money, and there was this interesting forward which came in which said that, money can't buy you happiness, but it sure can, make the journey a lot easier or something like that. But, that's a fact. So you need to get your basics sorted, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm a very firm believer of the fact that each one of us needs to ensure that the bases are covered. Only then can you enjoy other aspects of life. The second thing is, in case you have the spark of creativity, of seeing something different and seeing something come up, I don't think there's any industry where you can actually see it happen. You can stand and witness change in front of your eyes, and you can be responsible for that change. Again, to give you an example, we were working on a project, and we have an equity partnership in a project in Bombay, which is about cumulatively about 15 lakh odd square feet, of which we have a sale. It's actually a slum scheme. So you have the slum redevelopment part in front, and you have the sale part which is at the back. When we came into the project at that point, this was about 2012. Was about mid of 2012 was the first time I walked the site. There were about 800 slums there. And when I say slums, it actually is dense jhuggi clusters which we see here. But what I really enjoyed, and even at that stage, was walking through those clusters and talking to those guys there. Each of them had a little fridge and a TV inside, and they kept their house really clean. And I found it really fascinating that, my impression of a jhuggi was very different, to be honest. From there to now, we reached a stage where about 80% of the site is clear, where I've relocated these people, given them rentals, they're locating elsewhere. But the interesting part is, halfway through the project, we came across this huge challenge. So the site was a sloping site. We did the soil test before we started constructing in 3 or 4 areas, which came out great, which said there was loose rock which we could excavate. When I reached the sale part, where we actually had to construct a building, there was a rock. And when I say a rock, I'm not exaggerating. It's a rock which is double the size of this room that we're sitting in right now. And I got a call, from the guy who was starting to do the piling work for us, saying, "Okay, sir, problem." I said, "Okay, problem. Tell me every day there is a problem. What problem is it? Let's go." And I went to the site and he showed me the hole and he says, "Okay, sir, मैंने 3 पाइल drill करने का कोशिश किया, मेरा bit टूट गया." First of all, at that point in time, I didn't even understand what that meant. क्या मतलब है उसका? नीचे बहुत hard rock है. ठीक है. सर यहाँ पे रॉक है, वहाँ पे रॉक है, वहाँ पे भी रॉक है. ठीक है. मतलब क्या है? इससे साहब आपका प्रोजेक्ट खत्म नहीं होएगा. And this was, this is the guy who was operating the drilling machine telling me, साहब आपका प्रोजेक्ट खत्म नहीं है. That was, those are the kind of challenges that you face in the industry, and one option was to go back and tell the equity partner that we had that, to hell with your investment, I'm moving out, you give me my return, I don't want it, I have a guarantee 27%, I'm going to take that and move out. We decided to stick on. I changed the architect because the architect was supposed to know the fact that his design should have been flexible enough to accommodate rock, which was a brief given to him, but he hadn't. And these were, no, not taking names. But very famous Singapore-based guys who have were doing really good projects across India. And we decided to change the design. Simple solution was moving the building up, right? We moved the building up, cut down a few floors, essentially accommodate parking. We got the building started, building worked on time. But why I say interesting real estate, these are kind of things that you will not face in a 8 to 10 job calling up people. Right? You will come up with challenges. You will come up with challenges. What kind of solutions you come up with is up to you. And I can again see a lot of board faces. So I want to ask you guys, can it be more interactive? Or no?
Yes.
So why don't we start with that? Like I said, I really don't want to keep this in a way where, I'm talking because I see, I am going to lose the thing because I'm talking about myself, right? I'm talking about an industry which you guys have not gotten into, right? And I don't expect you guys to know all the nuances of it. So why not address your part? Why not address your questions? What is it that you guys have in mind and what is it that you expect from me? Let's start with that. Okay, no questions. I think that's a good sign or a bad sign.
That's a very good sign. Good one, sir.
What's the most
Exciting moment, any high point, any low point, what are you trying to visualize?
you're putting me in a spot there. What is the high point? The high point of and this is what I keep telling people is that a high point is defined by you. I enjoy every single day today, and I've gone back to doing handling construction because we've just picked up stake in a construction company and I'm revamping the company right now. They have about 8-10 projects that I'm looking at. But I enjoy the fact that I go and sit with the laborer who tells me how to lay bricks. I enjoy the fact that the waterproofing guy comes and tells me how to do the waterproofing, and I learn from him. But that's the high point today because I've done the part where the dreaming was. A few years back, yes, that would have been the key thing. Low point, all through your career, each one of you, when you go down this path of dreaming, and at some point of time you do realize the dream, you kind of get stuck in the rut. You get stuck in that dream. That's very dangerous. It's very dangerous from two perspectives. The first is that you think you achieved what you wanted to achieve. Unfortunately, that's the beginning of the downfall. So that, to me, was a low point is when you believe you have achieved the targets that you had set, because the targets, unfortunately, when you start off are very low. So very easy to achieve those targets. But yeah, that's the low point of career. But getting back to real estate, like I said, you are traveling at someone else's expense. You are advising a person about something he should know. You are facing challenges every single day. You are required to sell, right? And I'm just taking various verticals within real estate. You are required to sell at times things to a person who himself doesn't realize what his needs are, right? And this is another discussion that I've had with multiple people, that especially when you look at real estate, about 90% of Indians do not understand what they want, right? They cannot differentiate between an investment and a house that I'm going to live in. I'm just taking one example of a residence. And this probably also stems from the fact that all of us here, I think, in this room have been brought up with this thing of having a house when you grow up. When you have a house, then your mom says, yeah, now you can get out. Now you're. So till the time that you don't have a house of your own, your mom is the one who looks after you. Once you have a house, you're expected to get out. But and your dad believes that you're kind of settled. That's the two typical, the Indian mindset that comes with at least me. I'm maybe old-fashioned. You guys are not young. Unfortunately, what my dad and okay, so to give you a background, my dad is from the Air Force. He's an armed forces retired guy. He's never done any business in his whole life. He doesn't understand, the aspects of investing, so to say. So, if any of you read this, and in fact, that's another interesting thing. If you've read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I highly recommend to each one of you. Some things that you can relate to are the absence of those dining table conversations which happen in a family that actually teaches you how to value money and make money work for you, and not the other way around. It's very, very easy if you get the basics right. Okay? Your whole life, you can either keep working for that money, or your whole life, you can let the money work for you. The sooner you realize it, the better it is for you. So getting back to the real estate aspect of it, all that my dad told me about buying the house was utter nonsense. Okay, I own the house and I regret owning it because I can actually sell the house and live in a much better place on a rented thing, because it makes no sense buying the house today. That's financially not the best proposition. But as Indians, we've been brought up. So going back to real estate, these are the challenges that you have to explain to people. If you're a broker and a guy comes to you and say, I want to buy a house, you need to ask him what do you need it for. The other, especially in a residential part, the confusion that a lot of us make is between a house that we are going to stay in and a house that we are buying for investing. Right? A house that you stay in can be worth 30 crores, but it's not an investment. Right? It's not an investment. Like, you need to get that distinction clear. That's the thing that you need to explain. So when you get out in the industry, and if you are in the sales, and if you have a client who comes up, it's important you guys broaden your own horizons and come up with solutions that are helpful to him, rather than just giving him the normal thing. Yes, let's go see this house. So you can do sales. You can advise these really big people getting back and getting into the country.